All right, what up, what up? Good afternoon, everybody. This was a pretty exciting day. After this morning's longer video, I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter and sweeter. I've already got the chart kind of set up a little bit for the daily. I removed some of the clutter because I want to break in and focus in on the shorter window. But I'm also going to introduce two indicators that I really like, especially for those who are looking to maybe make some swing trades and catch some profit along the ride. Again, buying and holding is great. That allows price action to build. You're obviously showing your confidence in the project that it's going to go up, but stimulating the market, keeping the volume active, showing this as an active thing is a way to get eyes on the project to bring new money into the pool. So it's okay to take profit along the way as long as you're also ready to buy back in and keep riding. So this purple line is still that long-term trend back from May 7th. And we still have the $3 channel. We still have the 380 channel. We still have this top line downtrend that's kind of been pushing us down and kind of creating that ceiling. But what I brought into this one now to add on top of the 9 EMA, the moving average, which is the yellow line now, this is MACD. The MACD is an indicator that will kind of show you some momentum along with the moving average. So whenever the moving average, it's called moving average convergence and divergence. So it's breaks above, breaks below based on momentum. On buys versus sells, a good way to kind of show the continued direction. So as you kind of follow this, as it's a scaling darker green, that is buying momentum building, continuous momentum. As it turns lighter green and starts trailing down, we still have buy side momentum, but it's losing a little bit. And then as you see the darker red, that's building sell side pressure. And when we turn lighter, it's losing sell side pressure. And then these are just the crossing points of our moving average as it kind of verifies or confirms with the momentum. So when you see crosses, these are good buying points. So we're just going to zoom in a little bit just to make this a little bit more easier to see and line up. So as we see, this kind of top grill right here, that's where we saw the selling pressure come in and this big gap shot down. Technically, this day was the day to take profit, and where you would look to buy was in this day, which you got a little bit of a psych out because we ended up picking up more selling pressure. But ever since October 5th, there's been a long building where sell pressure slightly outweighed buying, but it was fading and turning and converting, and then we got the nudge, of course, which created a quick and rapid growth in buying pressure. As that faded through no more liquidity being in and buyers kind of disappearing, we converted into this sell side. But even though these last days were pretty down and pretty ugly, it really was a lot of buyers getting ready to step in, and we saw that today. If we zoom in and use a tighter duration window, we see that this morning, kind of depending on what your time zone you're in, but this morning we bottomed out. There was a little bit of buying momentum kind of building, and then we saw a sharp drop, but the sharp drop was quickly scooped up. And then we kind of built in this long consolidation, but we had buy side pressure as we took the top side of that moving average and really ramped up as volume moved. Shows that $3 was supportive, and once we broke above the 9 moving average, it really ramped up today. Was very excited to see that. The 15-minute one is more for your shorter trades. Obviously, shorter the duration, shorter your kind of outlook and forecast is. But a cool pattern that we kind of saw today that we could talk about that built was we saw this kind of resistance point that was built up for multiple days or multiple time frames around this time zone or time frame, and then this little rejection where we had a big wick. What that set up was something that was a target zone or a liquidity zone that we could build into, and this was kind of a breakout point that we could see. But we even saw a better one that's a kind of a fun pattern to look for called the cup and handle. And when you zoom in right here, you see this large candle down after the short one. So if we take, I'm going to just take, just want to draw 2 lines. So we're going to just do this one. So we're going to go from right here straight across to right here so that we can kind of see it. So that's kind of the little top of what we would call a cup and handle. It's not the most obvious one. A lot of times these are much more rounded and gradual, but because of TXC's small market, small liquidity, small volume, you do kind of get some of these jaggedy patterns in what is growing to be the kind of the cup part of this. Now, I'm going to delete that just because it doesn't look good. But where you see that breakout pattern become potential is right here when you see a sharp pullback. But that pullback is only about 20 to 40% of the cup's body right here, of this part. This pullback was only about 20 to 40%. And then we saw a sharp move up. And then right here, when this candle started at this part's top, and we saw this move, which created this large gap up because there was pressure built and coiled up that we wanted to move this price up. And now you see we are now above that. And it's not like a price discovery, but we are testing that next zone, that next level. Oops, I'm still drawing pictures over here. Let's stop that. I don't want to do that no more. Stop that. I'm gonna cross it. We're still seeing the next zone is this 378. So now this is a huge consolidation zone that has liquidity injected from October. Had almost majority of October's transactions were in this time frame. So we're going to see large action here. So very positive, very optimistic about this. Quick little touch up on what the MACD is. This is a nice one to follow momentum, but just a little dip into that one. And I just wanted to touch on how good the volume picked up today, and we surged in the price show that buyers are here and ready for the move up. So hope you guys like that one, and I might try to do these more often than once a week.